The movie's called Come As You Are. It is inspired by a true story of this guy, Asta Philpott, and it was also made into a hit Belgian film back in 2011 called Hasta La Vista. The story of Come As You Are follows three young men with disabilities. One is a quadriplegic, the other a paraplegic, and the other blind, who go on a road trip to a brothel in Montreal that caters to people with special needs so they can lose their virginity and embrace their independence. And makes it some unlikely friendships along the way.
Play Matt, and he is that unlikely friendship. He's a paraplegic boy that meets Scotty, and Scotty recruits him to come along this journey with him. And at first, my character was very resistant, and eventually, due to his life circumstances and him just being persistent, I give in and I go with him.
Well, I had the benefit of having the real life inspiration, Asta Philpott, pretty much, well, he was in England for a lot of it, so he was mostly just over FaceTime and Skype, but just back and forth pretty much every day for about 2 months. We were talking for, hours on end and, just trying to, he would coach me on the physicality. We'd have long conversations about his mindset over the years and the challenges, and he was just amazing.
Before this project even came along, my sister and I, we regularly took care of my uncle who was an amputee, and we just were around him like for his whole day, and we'll just watch him live and see how he gets around and everything. He's a true inspiration because I feel like he never used his situation as an excuse to be a jerk to anybody. He was the nicest guy in the world, and he was very anti-victim. I took some of that inspiration into my character. 2 months before we started filming, we just practically lived in those chairs, tried to just get around the production office, going all the way around doing laps.
And also, we shot a majority of the movie in Chicago. And I have to say that once we told the disabled community, the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab down there, everybody that we encountered who was disabled or in the disabled community down there, we just said, hey, we're making this film. We want to be as authentic as possible. And they just opened up their doors and their arms. And it was truly amazing. They're like, so you want to tell the story, huh? All right. Well, we're going to take you for a ride. And it was really great. It was a wonderful experience. Hopefully there's not just one message to the movie. And what's been nice, just, we premiered yesterday. So just the initial conversations that we're having with everybody is that everybody's taking away something a little bit different. But my thing is everyone has needs. Everybody, we all have the same wants, the same desires. And I think a lot of great movies are about that. But this one in particular tells it or, delivers that message in a really interesting way. I would say that it just kind of changed the way that I look at disability. It almost changes the way that you look at a room, The disabled community has been, and frustratingly so, has been just so overlooked and marginalized in so many ways. And just even to say the disabled community, it's like there are so many forms of disability. So it's, it's just kind of like it's misunderstood. And so I've just learned to be really open-minded, and it just changes everything whenever you take on any kind of challenge like this, acting wise or filmmaking wise. You learn so much, and I think that's the goal, and that's the beauty of it, is hopefully you do learn a lot as you're going along, and you're never quite the same.
Well, I would say the message of the film to me when I read it was how you can't control, what you're given, but you can control where you're going. I think it's a story of triumph and friendship and brotherhood, especially for my character, because he was the one that wasn't born with it. It was a recent thing that happened to him. And he's struggling with his old life and his new life. And so, I think it's, it's about finding people with, a commonality of pain. And then through that pain, you find a warmth and a bond like no other. Yeah. What I've learned, it just shows shows me like how much I take for granted what I have, and it makes me think that, you know, sometimes when I complain about things, I'm like, are my problems really problems?
I do complain way less.
If I want to do something, I can just, you know, get up and do it. And then doing this movie made me realize, like, oh crap, it's
No excuse.
yeah, you have to like map out everything you have to do. Like like you said, you look at a room differently,
Yeah.
you know, because you have to navigate it totally, like physically differently, and it's a very different perspective.